Hello friends, it's Shelley from Koala Knits and Knacks. In this tutorial, we're going to make hee-haw. Couldn't I have been a little more original with the name? But we're going to make hee-haw the donkey. And I am using my 46 and my 22 needle Addies, but you can go ahead and use your 48 and 22 needle Centros if that's what you have, and it will be perfect. I am using Luxe Merino yarn in the color Gray Multi. It is a light 3 yarn, and there are, let me just check here, 312 meters, 125 grams in the one skein, and I just needed one. So you just need to get one of them for this project. Isn't that awesome? And we're going to make this very, very cute donkey. So join me, have fun, and please don't forget to show me your projects in my Facebook group. All right? Give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't done so already. All right, friends, take care and have fun. Can't wait to see your projects. All right, I am ready to start. I have my 46 needle Addi set up. I've got my Luxe Merino yarn in the color Gray Multi, and this is going to make a beautiful donkey. We're going to get started. I generally put my yarn into a cake, but I'm going to leave it this way because this first part just slid out so easily. I'm going to just risk it and see. All right, so I'm going to bring my last white and my first black needle in line with my yarn feeder, and we're going to do the drawstring cast on. So I'm going to go in front of that black, behind, in front and behind, all the way around, and I'm going to just let it slip through my fingers. I'm not putting any extra tension on it, just the tension that it wants as it slips through my fingers. I am using my zest wrench for this project. I don't know actually that I've used my zest wrench on a video. I've used it on my own, but I don't know that I've used it much. Maybe I have one with its partially being used. I can't remember, but I thought I'm going to use it. Why not? So we've done our cast on. I'm going to set my counter to 0. Although this counter counts and the zest wrench counter counts, I go by this one. All right, not by the zest wrench one. It's a little bit behind, but we still go by this one. All right, so I'm actually going to hand knit the first row. I probably could turn my zest wrench on, but I don't want to. I want to hand knit it. And make sure those loops are going down over the red teeth. Now this is a 3-weight yarn, so it works beautifully in the machine. I don't anticipate I'll have any problems. If I anticipate problems, I will not use the zest wrench. All right, so there we go. And we've got one row done. I'm going to turn this on. Now I do have a video showing you how to use it. I'm going to reset it first because it's still from the count was still on there from the last time. How to, I have under my techniques playlist, I will show you how to use this. All right, but I'm going to have it on low. It's on circular knitting. I'm going to start it. I'm just letting it slip through my fingers just like that. Not with any extra tension on it at all. And, with a light tension. I don't use any extra tension for the cast on, but I have a very light tension as it's knitting this. And I'm going to just let it keep going round and round like this. I very seldom will use the high speed. I think that I would like to save my machine and my zest wrench for as long as I can. And so therefore I go with a very lowest tension as possible. I'm going to just shut it off here. Now it's a little bit tight coming out of my cake, out of my skein. So in retrospect, I should have put it in a cake. I generally always put it in a cake. I think I got over anxious to get started here. So I'm going to just pull out quite a bit here just so I know I get to a place where it's really loose. That should do. I'm going to turn it back on. So I'm holding it between my fingers like this, and it just slips through. If I want a little bit of tighter tension, I would squeeze my fingers or move it up to here, but I don't. I just want to guide it and have it do its own thing. And there we go. So friends, for this piece, we are going to do 85 rows. So just keep going, knitting in circular just like this, whether you're using your zest wrench or whether you're knitting by cranking. You're going to do 85 rows, all right? Now, You'll notice that my Zest-Wrench slows down a bit when it gets to the black piece, and that's because they're a little bit harder to go past because of the counter. Nothing wrong there. That's just how it's working. So I'm very confident in this Zest-Wrench. When you use it with the right yarn and the right speed and the right tension, it is not going to wreck your machine. So I am happy with it. I'm going to keep going until I get 85 rows or until my project starts to touch the table. With this 3-weight yarn, it's going to take quite a few rows to get it to touch the table. So once it does, I will meet you back. All right? Otherwise, keep going. 85 rows. I have just finished row 69 and my project is starting to touch the table, and when it does, it starts to buckle up like this if you don't take care of it and you don't want to drop a loop off of your red needles. But also it loosens the tension that helps to pull that loop down over your needles. So we're going to pick it up. Oh, I love this yarn. This would make a beautiful scarf or a beanie, a nice lightweight beanie. We're going to roll it into a donut, even though I only have like 15 more rows to go. Still going to do it, and I'm going to keep going. This is knitting beautifully. The tension is even and nice because I'm holding the tension on the yarn strand the same the whole way through, and the speed is consistent. I'm not stopping and starting or going faster and slower, and so that gives you a nicer tension look on your piece. When you have lines that are going through your work, it's because your tension is not uniform as you're knitting. Your tension or your speed or both. So I'm just going to keep going. This is row 70 and I'm going to go till I get to row 85 and then I'll see you back. All right, so just like that, I have 85 rows and they look beautiful. I can't wait to make this donkey and see what it looks like in this yarn. But what we're going to do now is we're going to do the drawstring cast off. I'm going to leave my Zest-Wrench on. I'm going to do one full round with the yarn removed. Make sure that is between the last white and the first black. Not one full round, but until the black needle gets to the screw. It shuts off immediately when you press it. See? Well, it goes maybe one needle length, but that means that all these needles have loops that are ready to come off. And so I'm going to cut my yarn 1.5 times the length of my barrel there. We're going to pop this into the center. I think I did more than 1.5 times, but hey, I'm known for oops, I'm known for that. I'm going to put my needle onto this yarn tail and we're going to start taking off our loops. Now this yarn is lightweight and it's soft. It will jump off these little loops faster than you can imagine. So if you pull up when you're pulling your needle through, if I was to lift up high like this, I will pull that needle off, that loop off that one. So come straight out to the side here, or put your finger over the next one, just to safeguard it. But once you get a few off, 3 or 4 off, then you can take it off, put it on your needle, hold it with your finger and move over to the next one and you can take a few off. Just don't lift your needle too high over those dividers. I'm going to hold my finger over that next one, pull through. Then I'm going to turn this on, turn it off. Not that long ago, somebody in my comments, oops, hang on, let me just catch that because I missed a loop right here. I'm going to catch it. Someone in the comments under my YouTube video, I think it was the Zest-Wrench video, it would make sense that it would be, but might have been one where I was using the Zest-Wrench, said to me, okay, it's been a year since you've had this thing. Do you still love it? And I say, yes, it is worth every cent. I do not use it that often, and I'll be honest, I don't. I like to do my projects with a manual crank for the most part, but I do use it on occasion, and it's nice. Like if I was to be making a scarf and I'm not patterning or changing colors, then it's perfect. Like it works beautifully. You can whip that thing up and the tension's nice and even, and you make a nice project. So there are benefits to having it, and I do still, after this amount of time, suggest that you get one if you can. I'll put the links in the description box below. Please always click on a link. Before you buy anything on Amazon, click on one of my links and it'll access my code and it'll help to support my channel. Whether you purchase the item you link on or not. You don't have to. But just by clicking on a link, it accesses my code, and then go do your Amazon order, whatever you have to do, whether it's stuff relating to this or not. And that will help support my channel. So I appreciate that very much. All right, so I have it off the machine, and of course I grabbed too much, but that's okay. I just cut it. And there we go. We're gonna unwind it. Like, I have not made a scarf or a beanie in this, but don't you see how beautiful it is? Oh my goodness, I gotta do it. And it's so soft. It's Luxe Merino, and it is absolutely gorgeous. Like, look at that. Awesome. Okay, so here's our piece. We're gonna give it a stretch widthwise and lengthwise. So beautiful. Like, look how the striping is. Like, I'm envisioning, I've said it several times already, but a scarf. It's self-patterning, and it's such a beautiful pattern. But we're gonna now take the inside one, put our hand onto the inside. We're gonna grab that end, and we're gonna bring it through. Now, if you got a tuck stitch or a slip stitch or a missed stitch or something that's not nice, like I must have stopped it here because look at that's a little bit looser, then just put that on the inside and use the best side. All right, now I'm going to take the inside one. Where is my yarn tail? There it is, and I'm going to pull it. Now, if you're using a different yarn, if you're using 4-weight yarn, your piece will be a little bit different in size, but it'll still be beautiful. This is 3-weight yarn. Some people have said that they think 3-weight yarn makes your projects bigger because it's a looser knit. I've never done the comparison, but one of these days I'm going to make a beanie with 3-weight yarn. I'm going to make one with 4-weight yarn because I think the opposite. I think the 3-weight yarn makes it smaller. And it just makes sense in my head. It's thinner yarn. It's going to make a smaller project, but some say no. Put it in the comments what you think. I'm just reinforcing the end here by going around that top row of stitches and then pulling it tight and making a knot. I don't use 3-weight yarn on my machine very often at all. 95% of the time I'm using 4-weight yarn. All right, so I'm going to now take that other one. Here's my tail of the one I just did, and I'm going to leave that out, cut it off a little shorter because I don't need it to be long. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull this one, cut that off a little bit shorter, and we're going to reinforce the top of this end just like we did the inside. Picking up that first row of stitches just like that, pulling through. Get that tail out of the way. Continue around. And pull. Now I've also done less rows for the body of this and the head of this project than I do for most of my other projects, animal projects, but I did that intentionally. I want to make it a little bit smaller. There we go. So I pulled that nice and tight. I'm going to tie this off in a knot just to secure it before I tie it to the other one. Just one. Pull that knot down with your thumbnail. Take these two, pull the inside one right up close to the outside one. Tie a firm knot. Take those two and just pop it to the inside. Okay, you guys, look at this as a beanie. Me and my bunny trails. But look at this as a beanie. Oh my word. I'm going to go get more of this yarn. Pull that through first. Like, come on. Wow. It's so cute. I want to make it a beanie. And it's not so heavy for little heads. Oh, I love it. Or big heads. So there we go. We have that done. Now you're going to grab a yarn strand that goes around the width of this, about 1.5 times. And we are going to put a drawstring at the end. So smooth out the inside. Take your hand and just smooth it out. You want to get it nice and even on the inside and the outside. You're going to flip that up. You're going to go underneath one row. So two bars, over two, under two, over two, under two, over two, under two, all the way around. We're going to put a drawstring in the base here. Alrighty. Pull that through. Get under there and under there. And there. And you're going to put this line all the way around. Once you get to the end, you're just going to pull it so that you have an even tail on both sides so you don't lose one. And it goes back in. Give this a little slip knot because we're not going to tighten it up yet. Now you're going to grab another one of equal length and we're going to separate the bottom from the top. All right, so you could count your rows and get exactly halfway, or you could do what I do, is I just smooth this out like this. I'm going to tighten this just a little bit just to make it a little bit more accurate. And then I'm going to flip it up, fold it in half, press down on it. And I can see actually right in the center here is pretty much center. And I'm going to go under one row, over one, under one row, over, under, all the way around. Move this out like this. Now for someone who pays such close attention to detail as I do in all my projects, it's probably shocking that I do it this way and that I don't count the rows, but I think it really does come out almost perfect when I do it that way. So that is why I do it. And I'm going to go under a row, over, under, over, under, over, under. And if you stayed on the same row, you should be either one row up or one row down from the start when you get around to the end, because when we knit in the round, it goes up in a circle and the ends of each row do not meet. And so if I'm more than one row off, then I know I've gone off track here somewhere, and I'll back it up. Pull through. And over, under, over, under. I think I've gone off a little bit. Hang on. Straighten that out. There we go. And we'll soon find out. I feel like I'm up one too far, but we'll see. Let's just go like this. So, I might be still perfect. We'll see here. Over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under. Well, I came down one row or I went up one row, whatever the case be, because I'm even. But that's okay. Usually when you knit in the round, one row goes higher than the other. So I should have come out, if this one started here, I should have come out here if I stayed on the same row, or here, depending on which direction I was going when I made it. But I came out right at it and not as close enough for me. So I'm going to cut this off. I'm going to do the same with this one, tie a little bit of a slip knot. Then I'm going to grab my fiber fill and we're going to fill this beautiful, beautiful piece. Take my rings off because it keeps snagging on my piece. All right, so I'm going to pull this apart because it's all compacted in the bag. I think if we pull it apart, we get more out of the bag. Just like fluff it out a little bit and fill our piece. We're going to fill it so it's nice and full, but if your rows start to spread out like that, you know you put way too much filling in and you'll have to remove some. And I'm going to put that in there. That looks like way too much, but it generally isn't. I play with it, mold it, get it really good. And let's just feel that out. If this one is tight, I think that's going to be good. But I'm going to tighten the base here. I'm not going to knot it permanently. I'm just going to put a nice light tie in there so that if I need to, I'm going to just hang on, cut that a little shorter. So if I need to get in there with a little bit more fiber fill, I can. So I'm just going to go like this for now, just so that I can get the idea. See, just like that. And we're going to work on this middle one. This will tell us. I'm thinking I can put a little more in there, but let me just separate the two. And here's another thing that I'm going to do. Well, first off, I'm going to do a surgical knot, which means that when I tie it around once, I'm going to go ahead and do it again. Then when I pull it tight, it will help it to stay in place so I can knot it. Now, you don't want to do it so tight that you choke your poor guy. You just want to give it a nice neck. And I'm going to just twist this a couple times because that also helps to hold it in place for me. And I'm going to tie that off. Now here's the beauty of this. Now you get to decide which is the head and which is the body. Take the one that's a bit smaller. That's this one. So this is how I did it, but this one looks a little bit smaller based on where I put my drawstring. Even one row makes a difference. So this is how I'm going to do it. This is going to be the head right up here. All right, now I'm going to take my yarn tail, pop it back onto my needle. Now you see where I have what I call a hill there and a valley here. This is where I did the drawstring. I'm going to go underneath those little valleys over the hill. Under the valley, over the hill. Under the valley, I would encourage you to make sure you do this. Like, look at this neck. That's how it looks. Wait till you see what it's going to look like after. If you follow my channel, you already know because I do this all the time. And even if you put a scarf or something on it, you should do it because, you know, maybe the little kid or whoever's playing with it is going to take the scarf off. And you don't want to see work that doesn't look nice. Oh, I'm tired. I need to go get supper started. Ay, ay, ay. Get caught in my craft room. Everything else falls by the wayside. And I blame you. All right, so we're going to continue around, going under the valleys, over the hills, till we get all the way around. If this one is too short, put the other one on and then meet wherever they meet. And I already know I'm going to put a tiny bit more stuffing in this. And that's the beauty of not having tied it off really tightly on the bottom. So I'm going to grab this one. I'm going to meet the other one on the other side. All right, so I'm going to continue that and I'll see you back. I made it all the way around, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to do another double knot here. Oops. And pull. Try to give that a little bit of a turn because I want it to be tighter this time. There we go. And another one. I'm going to pop this back onto my needle. I'm going to show you the neck right away. It's beautiful. Under the stuffing, out the body, pull up, cut it off. Look at the difference on the neck. Like, it's just like night and day. It's absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to actually now put just a little bit more stuffing in there because I just feel it could use a bit more. And I can do that from untying this. I'm going to stuff it down in the bottom just a bit more, and I'm going to stuff it up in the head a little bit more, and I'm going to go up and make my supper, barbecued hamburgers, and then I'll see you later. All right, here's my piece, and I'm loving how it's looking so far. This yarn is beautiful. We are going to go ahead and make the nose now. So I'm going to grab my 22 needle machine, dust it off. We're going to take our Luxe Merino yarn, same yarn that we're using, that we use for the body. We're going to bring the last white, first black needle in line with our yarn guide. We're going to do the drawstring cast on. See if I can do this without clamping down my machine. So behind and in front, all the way around. It should be behind that last white needle and into the yarn feeder it goes. I'm going to set my row counter to 0. Now here's where people have a hard time, a lot of people do, with the 22 needle machine. When you do the next round, sometimes the yarn will split in between those red teeth. The key to that not happening, friends, is to go slow. Is to do a loose cast on like what I just did, and then you're going to go slow, because when the needle passes by, you're going to watch to make sure that loop goes down over the red teeth. If when it goes down over the red teeth, it splits, take your needle or a loom pick it up, put it over the red teeth, and then continue on. But if you go slow like this and you don't have tight tension coming out of your skein there, you should be able to manage this one. I was just going to say you should be able to manage without it, but this one is splitting a little bit, so I'm going to pick it up. Bring it over the red teeth and continue on. And that's all it takes for the first row. And then that's it. And this is splitty yarn, so that's why. Like well, generally it's not, but that little nook of that needle is a little bit sharp. So if it's loose, if the fibers are loose at all, and this is a little bit, then it is more inclined to split like that. But again, just go slow, take your time, and then you will have success after that. The key is to use yarn that your machine loves. All right, so for the nose, we're going to keep knitting just like this until we have 24 rows. And when you have 24 rows done, you're going to cut off a tail long enough to go around your barrel 1.5 times, and you're going to do the drawstring cast off, just like what we did for the body. So 24 rows, then the drawstring cast off, and that will be our nose. Here's my nose. You have to decide which half you want showing. So I'm just going to cinch this up here by going around the top row of stitches one time. Very quick. Pull that tight. Give it a little knot. Pull that knot down with your thumbnail, just like that. Then you're going to pop this into the center. Pull it through. Give it a tug to get that knot inside. We're going to put this actually in half like we do our beanies. I'm going to pull this one. Oops, I got a little bit of a gather in there, so straighten that out. Let's fix this side, and then we'll decide. I kind of already know that this will be the, well, maybe not, because most of their noses are light in color, but I'm going to just go around. But hey, this is a stuffed animal. we can have the nose whatever color we want. And I'm going to, oops, what happened there? Oh well, we'll just do that. I'm going to pull that through. I'm going to give this a tie. I snagged that somehow, so that's why that little white strand is not correct, but however, that will fix it. So this can be the nose, or this can be the nose. Let's check this. I'm going to have this the nose. Yeah, I'm going to have this the nose. So then what we want to do is I'm going to just cut these off, hide them inside of there, give that a little stretch. If this ivory one is long enough, we'll use it for seaming. I think it is. So we're going to pop that onto our needle. Find the section where you want the nose to be. So if there's a flaw or something that you want to cover up, have that the place where you put your, this is all good, so it looks kind of a little wonky. So I'm going to put that there, like that. Now we don't want the nose to be pointy like that. like that. And we don't want it to be squished like a duck. We want it to be in between those two. I'm going to stretch this out a little bit, and I'm going to put this on just like this and sew it on so that this is like a round oval kind of thing. So we're going to stuff it too, but I'm going to wait a little bit before I add any stuffing. I'm going to go into the head, under the stuffing of the head, pick up the side there, and just get this started. Leave a tail so that you can tie off and hide. And let's just get this started here, just like that. So this is what the look is going to be. You're going to spread this out into an oval kind of a shape, just like that. And you're going to sew it on almost all the way, and then I'm going to stuff it. All right, so I'm going to go right close to the edge there, go under some stuffing, pick it up. Don't take your tail with you. Under the stuffing, into the edge, and pick it up. Generally, I put a little bit of stuffing in my noses before I put them on, but for this one, I'm being very particular about the shape, so I want to be able to see it without the stuffing. And there we go, because I don't want it to look like a duck. So oops, that's too big of a piece. I'm going to stuff this a little bit now after I get down to here and reassess the situation. There we go. Let's take some fiberfill. Donkey's nose is like long and pointy, but the width of the head, so that's why I'm trying to get it as much as I can like that. So it's going to turn out oval. I think that's going to be great. Let's take a little bit more of this out. Get that stuffed up in there. I think that's going to be perfect. I'm going to continue. I'll show it from this end. See, it's more like a horizontal. Like it's not equally round. It's more of an oval, going this direction, as you can see. So I'm going to sew that down. Not going all the way to the neck. I'll leave about a stitch and a half or 2 stitches there, and get that all sewn down, and then I'll meet you when I get to that end. I might have to add some more yarn. All right, I think I like how that is. I'll give you a better angle. Oh, it's a guessing game sometimes, but hey. We're gonna make a knot. And again. I'm going to put that underneath, bring it through the same hole as the other one. I'm going to tie this in a knot again, just so that this end is secured. Pop that on my needle. I think the nose is the hardest part of the project, so once you get that on, you'll be fine. We're going to cut that. All right, so I held up lots of different eyes on this little guy, and nothing seems straight to me because these lines are a little bit off because it's a self-striping yarn. But I think that's about as good as I'm going to get them. And I chose to go with a 16 millimeter eye. All right, so close to the edge of the nose there. You can see just on the inside of the edge. And I'm going to see if I can use this little tool. I haven't used it yet. I just got it yesterday. Lindsay from our group, from my Facebook group, showed us this last year. She had bought one, and how nifty it was. So I ordered it, and I just got it yesterday, and I'm going to try it. So we're going to pop this back onto here. I'm just going to push it down just a tiny wee little, oops, maybe not. I don't want that other eye to fall out. It's got a little hole there, and I think that goes, yeah, the back of the eye goes on there. That makes sense. And then the top of the eye goes there, and then I'm gonna, oh my goodness, like I hardly even squeeze that. I don't want this one. Oh my word, you guys, that went all the way to the end. Now, if you are nervous about it, put a little bit of hot glue on that little concave part, and oops, well, this one pushes on easy, but I'm going to I'm going to just secure it with this. You can hear it. You can hear it click. Now, this particular eye I could have done without that, but they're kind of cool. They're like I just got this in yesterday, and that's the first set of eyes that I have put on with it. I had to tighten this because it was, when I squeezed it, this was off center like that, and so I just tightened it up and it works. It's a cheap little gadget, but if you have trouble pushing your eyes on, see, that already went. If you have trouble pushing your eyes on, then this works well. It just did. So I'm going to, I'll demonstrate that a little bit better in a different video, but I'm going to now take these two, and we're going to tighten up our top of our head. Take a look first. You might want to add a little bit more stuffing. I think this one's good. So I'm going to tighten this up. Too bad that wasn't gray, but I think I can hide that ivory strand. I'm going to go around the top of the tail of the stitches there and tighten it up really good, and then I'm going to tie off in a knot and hide my tail. All right, so I have my 22 needle machine, and we are going to make the arms and the legs. So I'm going to bring the last white, the first black needle, in line with my yarn feeder. I'm going to use that same yarn that I used for the body, the Luxe Merino, and we're going to make 4 of the same. So this is going to be quick. We're going to do our cast on, just as we did for the body, letting that slip through your fingers. Before you get to the end, set your counter to 0. It's ready to go. I'm going to knit 40 rows, 40. Once I have my 40 rows knit, I'm going to cut off a tail long enough to go around my barrel 1.5 times, and I'm going to do the drawstring cast off, just like we did with the body. All right, and once I have that done, I'm going to make 3 more. So you're going to make 4 arms and legs, 2 arms, 2 legs, 4 legs, drawstring cast on, 40 rows, drawstring cast off. Make 4. And here we go. I got all 4 pieces. Now what I'm gonna, this worked out good for me, you guys, because, and I did not plan it. I did it as it came out of the ball, but these 2 are the same, and these 2 are the same. Try to get the 2 arms and the 2 legs. Pick your 4 if you're using self-striping yarn. I promise you, I did not plan this. This just happened. I did plan the ears, and I'll show you that. But take a look at it and decide which ones you want for the arms, which ones you want for the legs, and find the 2 on each that are the closest to each other. Let's start with the arms. I think I want these ones for the arms. So we're going to give these a stretch. Oh, that's beautiful. I'm gonna tighten that. Find my needle. We're gonna do the same thing we've done to all the other pieces. We're gonna go around the top. Just like that, pull it tight, tie off in one little knot. Push that down with your thumb. Now you're going to put your hand in there, pop that into the center, grab the end, bring it through. Pull that to get the knot on the inside. Now here's where, once we do this side, we're going to determine whether we want the this to be the arms or this to be the arms. What is this little thing here? When I was doing my cast off, I snagged the yarn. I split the yarn. So we're gonna just take this little thing, we're gonna pop that in there, we're gonna pull, because when you split the yarn, when your needle goes through a strand of yarn, then you can't pull it. You can't pull it tight. So we're just gonna hide it, because we're gonna go around and we're going to reinforce. And there we go. Pull that tight, pull up on the inside one. Give that a tie. Ay, 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 all these strands. Actually, could have cut them both shorter because the tail's not in the right place, so I have to add one to sew. We're going to pop that on our needle. We're going to put it in between the 2 layers to hide, or you can just depends which side you want. So I'm already thinking that that's the side I want to show. Here's the lighter side, and it's all one color, so I'm going to have that, so I can just pop this into the center. Pull through. I felt that knot come to the inside, and there we go. I'm going to do that for all 4 pieces, finding the 2 that I'm going to use for the arms and the 2 that I'm going to use for the legs. Go ahead and do the same. Oops, almost fell over the edge of the table. There we go. We have our 4 pieces. I tied a strand onto the one piece. This is going to be an arm. And we're going to take some fiber fill. We're going to stuff the little hand, little arm, little leg. Arms. That's what this one is. Just like that. That's too much, so I always squeeze it, and if lots comes out of the end, that's what I take off. Taking our tail here, we're going to go straight across. This is why I didn't need waste yarn. I could have did waste yarn here and then closed this up in a flat edge and cinched this, but that's just extra work. So I'm just going to close this up like this. Then I'm going to pop those in. So the 2 sides here, bring them in. And then we're going to just go through and we're going to seam. Out to the side here. You don't have to put a lot of stitches in there just to get it bound together. Then I'm going to bring it inside, back to the center. Don't pull, because you don't want to pull in here. You want to keep it straight. Push this edge in. Seam that. And this is 3, so it didn't take many at all. Make a knot. Bring this back to the center. It's easier to attach the arms when this starts, when the center point is the start. Go ahead, do this to your second arm. And then meet me back. There we go. Have both arms done. I have my tails in the center ready to put on. I did the legs the same way, but you're going to leave the tail on the side. All right. Now here's the thing. This one is longer in black or in dark gray. I thought it was going to be much the same. But you know what? In my visual, it kind of looks like it'll be a little bit off, but I think because this whole thing is just all self-striping, I think it's going to come together. I'm hoping it's going to come together and not look like the row counts were wrong. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take one of the arms. Now, the reason why I like it in the center is because then when you put it on, it's centered. So however you want to, wherever you want to put it, I'm going to put this on the side like this, and I'm going to come, this is about the middle on the side. I'm going to go up just over to the front about 1.5 stitches and make that the center. So I don't want it exactly on the center on the side here. I want it more forward. And then from there, we're going to sew it on. So I'm going to just go, always slides on this tray. I'm just going to go into the seam there, pull up, come down, go back into the neck, pull it really tight, go back from underneath to the top, and then back in. And I think one more should do it, and then I'll round off the edge, the sides, and into the neck. Now here's what I do with my sides of my arms all the time. I don't like a funny edge there, so I will take my needle and I'll go down about 1 stitch or 2, maybe 2 stitches down, go across, that's in the side there, coming right through. Then I'll go right into the edge there underneath and come out at the center point of the underarm. And I pull that, and when I pull it, watch how it rounds it off. It just pulls it in and it rounds off the edge here, and just gives it a smoother look. And now I'm in the right place to go ahead and sew the other side on, doing the same exact thing. So into the neck. Going from underneath and over. Either way works, but that's just my preference. I think it looks nicer. It's a cleaner look. Underneath. From under, over, pull. One more. I can generally do it in 3 stitches. That was 2, but I think that was 2. But I'm going to now go do my 3rd one up the side here, going into my space to the edge, out through the center, under the arm, and then when I pull that, it just pulls that in and gives it a nice finish. Now I just give that a little snug to make it tighter. I let that hang until I put the 2nd one on, because I want to make sure that they are centered the way I want them to be before I tie off the knot and hide the ends. All right, this doesn't look like a donkey yet, but trust me, it will when we're done. Now that we have the arms on where we want them to be, we're going to go ahead and put the legs on. So for the legs, I'm going to just, oops, put that on. Here's the center. It's going to be at a bit of an angle. This one at an angle like that. Then when you sit him up, his legs are like that. All right, so I'm just going to take this first one, get the angle correct. There's the center. There's the center of the front. I'm just going side and angled at the front. We're going to attach this right here. And I think that I'm just going to sew it on, go in under some of the stuffing into the leg pull. The first one's trial. Second one, you match up to it if you like it, or you take it out. But they're pretty easy to get these lined up. So I'm gonna just go for it. And then we're just gonna, my poor little piece is getting so squished, but I want to make sure that I'm squishing them down low enough so I can get this in the camera for you. There we go. I'm just gonna take a look. It looked a little too off to the side until I put the 2nd one on, because then once I get them both on, I'm going to seam the sides of the legs together a little bit, so that helps. But I'm going to continue this one a little bit further. I'm going to go up on the side here and then back down. And let's take this to the center just to get the strand out of the way for when we attach the 2nd one. I'm going to attach the 2nd one in the same manner, just like that. All right, when you have them on where you like them, you can see it's pretty even in there. There's the center. I'm going to pick up on the body here. I have to go through the through here, just to round it off a bit, and back down. In. And I'm not going to go quite to the center here because I want to take these two. I'm going to bring this back out now that I did that. Out to the center. I want these two to come together just a little bit. So I'm going to take this tail. And I'm going to go into this side here. And I'm going to just lightly join them just like that. Give it a knot. And again. Hide your tail. Then make a knot in that other tail and hide it as well. All right, friends, once you have that part done, you're going to grab your 22 needle machine and your yarn, and we're going to make the ears. Friends, this is an easy project. Lots of repetition. Bring the last white first black needle in line with your yarn feeder on your 22 needle machine. You're going to take your working yarn, Luxe Merino is what I'm using, and I'm going to cast on with the drawstring cast on. Into the feeder. Now I do need a straight edge for one of the ends on this particular piece on the ears, but we're not going to use waste yarn because it's a small piece. So I'll show you how we're going to make a straight edge without using waste yarn. All right, so set your row counter to 0. You're going to knit 20 rows for the ears, and then you're going to do the drawstring cast off, and you got it. You're going to make 2. So drawstring cast on, 20 rows, drawstring cast off, make 2 ears. I have my ears off the machine. Now you can see there are 3 here. This was my first one, and I realized that I had enough yarn left that I could find this color, make both the same color in solid, and still have some yarn left over. I have this and this left over from one skein. So one skein project, and you'll have just a tiny bit left over. Nothing that you can really do anything with, but I had enough that I could make my ears the same color. So yay, happy about that. You're going to take this side. If there's one that has a little bit of color on this side, that's the part you're going to sew down. So then take the other end, and this is the top of the ear. The other end, and we're going to just point it off just like that. And again. The difference between this ear and most of the ears I've ever done on projects is that we're going to stuff this one just a little bit, just so that it stays up and stays firm. So I'm going to pop this into the inside. And I only tied 1 knot, so I'm going to be careful here. And I'm going to tie another one just so that it doesn't come undone. There we go. Now you can cut this off. Grab a little bit of fiber fill. I'm going to take this first, just straighten it out just a little bit. We're going to take just a tiny bit of fiber fill, not much at all. I don't want a stuffed round ear. I just want to give it a little bit of firmness so that it stays in place. So I'm just going to see how very little that was, because I want this to be pointed, and we're going to point that in a bit. But this is just like, friends, look, it's pretty much flat. All right, and that's how you want it to be. We're going to take this, and this is where, again, we could have used waste yarn if we wanted a flat edge, but this is getting sewn down, so we're not going to worry about it. I'm just going to make it straight like that. And then I'm going to just pick up one of these loops here, and I'm just going to sew it across. Nothing fancy. I'm just closing it up. And I'm going to go the other way, because this is going to be, I'm just going to trail that to the center there. This is going to be sewn to the head. There you go. Now I want you to find some yarn that is this color. I'm going to take that yarn, and I'm just going to go up onto the side here. We're going to hide this in the back, but I'm just going to go up onto the side there. I'm going to pick a side stitch, and I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 7 or 8 stitches down. I'm going to make a knot there just to hold it. I'm going to fold this over. I'm going to get down into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 into the 7th stitch. And I'm going to pick up 1 bar. Generally, when we are doing the mattress stitch, we pick up 2, but in this little tiny piece, I am picking up 1. And I'm going to go through the center of that stitch. Here's where I came out. I'm going to go in. I'm going to pick up 1 more. Here's where I came out. I'm going to pick up 1. And 1. And 1. And I'm going to do this mattress stitch all the way up. I'll pull it in just a second. There we go, I'm at the top. And there we go, I'm at the top. I'm gonna pinch this here, pull this, and there we go. We have our donkey ear. Isn't that so nice? And then I'm going to just come up, make a knot, go into the center there, pull it through, make one more knot. This is on the inside. Hide that in between the layer, pull it out, cut it off, fold that back up, and that is going to stay in place on our donkey. Do that to the second ear and meet me back. All right, friends, I'm just going to point out one thing. When you are sewing your seam at the bottom here, make sure that you have them the same width. This one's a little bit, just a little bit wider, so I'm going to fix that when I attach it, before I attach it to the ear. You want them to be the exact, or to the head, you want them to be the exact same so that your head looks, or your ears look the same on your head, on the head. So I'm going to put that there. About middle of the arm up. Here's the center here. And I'm down about an inch. I'm going to just go into the head, try to get some fiber fill if I can, then I'm going to go straight across, just like that. And I'm going to follow that down. I'm going to go straight into the head, pick it up, go back in, and I'm going to sew this all the way down, stopping every once in a while to make sure that it is positioned where I want it to be. All right, so that is how I'm going to go ahead and sew my ears. I'm going to also pick up on the side here and take it down like I did the arms. All right, so go ahead and do that. Get both of your ears on and I'll meet you back. I don't feel I have to be on camera to show you how to do that any further. And it's easier for me to sew it when it's closer to my body and not sliding on this tray. So I'm going to leave you to that and I'll see you in just a little bit. Once you have the ears on, you're going to come to the back, and this is coming out the center. You're going to just go up, pick up about 3 strands, and then secure it down, and that's going to help your ears to stand. The stuffing helps, but this helps too. That just pulls them back just a little bit. And again. There we go. I'm going to make a knot. And one more. I'm going to take my strand, put it under the stuffing, pull it out the head, pull up, cut it off, and do that to the other ear. All right, friends, one of the most frustrating things to videoing and making YouTube videos is that when you record a segment and it doesn't take, I don't hit the record button hard enough or whatever the case. I had this whole face done and it didn't record. I'm going to leave the eyebrows in and I'm going to do the nose again with you. I took it out because the eyebrows, these are just 2 strands and 2 strands. Done the same way that I'm going to do the nose. You go in through the side of the head, then you come up where you want your stitch to be. It was perfect before, so now I hope I get it just as well. Oh, brother. Nope, that's not good. I'm going to come up right about, I'm looking at where I want to come up. Right there. I'm going to come up. I'm going to leave a tail for tying off later, and that's what I did with the eyes. I went in, then I did 1 strand. I went over here. I did 1 strand, then 2 strands, then 2 strands, and out. All coming underneath here to connect the 2. All right, so here I came up at this point. I'm going to go down. And then I'm going to go straight across. I think that would be about where. And then I'm going to, I think it has to be a bit lower from my visual here. So I'm going to go under and come out there. And I'm going to go up to about there. Let me see here from a different angle. Up to about there. Then I'm going to come back down to the point here. And back up, because I like a double strand, over to this area here. I pull on this one, we'll get that other one tighter. There we go. Pull on this one to get that one a bit tighter. And I'm going to go back into this one to double strand it. Then I'm going to come down and through like that. Yep, that looks good. I'm going to come as though I was going to go straight across. Let's pretend our mouth is straight across. It's not going to be. This one is on the corner of the edge there, so I'm going to make that one straight across there. Then I'm going to come up in the center, but just a little bit below, like a stitch below. Just like that. And I'm going to let this one come underneath that bar. Then I'm going to take that bar. It should be a little bit lower, so I'm going to go under. Come up this one here. So that's straight across. I've got this under the bar, but in the center. And then I'm going to go back into that same space. I'm going to go over top of that bar, over top of the mouth, back into that same point, all the way under, out where I went in on the side here. Snag it with your fingernail. And then when you pull this, it's going to make a smile. This little loop is going to pull that other bar down and make a smile. See? Just very lightly, just like that. And now my donkey has a smile. So cute. So I'm going to tie these two off. Don't pull this first knot too tight or you will compromise the look of the mouth. Tie the second one tight. I'm going to hide my end and cut it off. Just like that. There you go. He's looking like a donkey. Now that we have this cute little guy done, we're going to add a tail. And I'm just going to add a tassel, just like this. Now, I have a video on my channel that I just recently posted as well, using these new tassel makers that I got. They are strong, sturdy metal tassel makers. I don't have time to show you that in this video because it's a technique video all on its own. So I'm going to add the tail here, taking one strand, and I'll link the video to that tassel maker in the description below. Or you can make the tassel your favorite way. And I'm just going to add it just like this, one strand one way, one the other. Bring that up. We're going to tie off in a knot. Then I'm going to take this and I'm going to go through that loop again, just so that I can get a nice, secure join. Go through the loop here. See the difference that made? Pop that on there one more time. The other one going the other direction. Give it a tie. Then you can put this onto your needle. You can take it right down through that tassel and bring it out. Give it a pull. Cut it off to the same length and that will not come off. And then you got a cute little tail. We need one more thing, and that is our mane. So stick with me and we're going to do that next. We are going to take our black yarn. We're just going to wrap it around our fingers. Just like so. This isn't going to be as long as it's going to be, so that's why we don't need to worry about the exact. I'm going to give it a cut on one end, and now I've got some long pieces. You're going to take a very small crochet hook. This one is a 3mm hook, and I'm going to put this in half, just like that. So take one loop, put it in half, and we're going to just go across between the ears. So I'm going to pick up a strand. I'm going to grab that loop. I'm going to bring it through. I'm going to yarn it over, and I'm going to bring it through the loop. And I'm going to pull that down with my thumb. This, again, is going to get cut, so you don't have to worry about it being really long. Take your other loop, or other strand, make a loop. Go right in there. Pull that up. You can take your fingers and grab that if you like and pull it through. And you're going to do this right across the front here. And then I'm going to do a second row right behind it. All right, so go ahead. Let me do one more with you. You're going to take that strand, you're going to put it in half. You're going to take your hook, going to pick up a couple strands there, bring it through, and pull it through. Pull that knot down with your thumb. Go ahead, do that right across. Then make another line here. You could go down if you choose. I might do that. I'm just going to go sit upstairs and I'm going to play with this and get this going across. And I'll do a second row here. And then I'll let you, well, you'll have seen at the beginning of the video, but I'll show you what I decide to do. I think I'm just going to do the 2 rows there. I think that's enough for this little cutie. And we'll call it a finished project. All right, I'm going to continue that on and I'll be right back with you. All right, friends, you know what? The more time you put into attention to detail little things, the cuter your projects become. I just loved this so much that I thought I had to do this. So what I did is I did the 2 rows like I told you, and then I did 2 rows down here. I went, one is in the middle and one is just off the center, and they're both straight down until I get to the place where this last one hangs is almost to the neck. I don't want it to go all the way down and blend in with the tail. And we're going to cut this a little bit shorter. But I'm going to take my front mane. And I'm just going to lift it up like that. And I'm going to cut it off. Cut it straight. Just like that. Let's just see how short. Oh, it's still too long. I want it to be above the eyes. So it's not hiding the eyes. So I'm cutting off quite a bit here, as you can see. Don't go too crazy because you can always cut shorter, but you can't make it grow. You'd have to redo it. Let me just shake that off. That's perfect. That is absolutely perfect. And so now what I'm going to do, but I'm not done with it because we're going to frizz it out. I'm going to take this part. I'm going to take a small section. I'm going to match it up with that one. I'm going to try to. Okay, so we'll get it about the same length, maybe a little bit longer. I'm going to cut that across. If you ever wanted to be a hairdresser, now's your time. Okay, we're going to take more. My daughter's a hairdresser. She cuts hair way better than this. There we go. And I'm getting scissor happy. I hope I haven't cut it too short, but needless to say, there we go. Let's give it a shake. No, it's absolutely perfect. You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. Now you're going to take a sharp needle and you're going to do it to this little tail too. The same thing. I might cut that a little bit shorter actually, but you're going to take a needle that has a sharp point, and you're going to sit down and you're going to take one of these little things and you're just going to pull it apart. Put your needle in there, pull it apart. Take the next one, pull it apart. And you're gonna unstrand each piece. And then you're gonna have, that will give you a nice frizzy little, you can leave it like this if you prefer. I think that this is gonna look adorable. So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna take every strand and I'm going to just take my needle and run it through. It doesn't take long. Poke it in. Run it through. You might have to go halfway up and then do the second half, but poke it in, run it up. Oh, I've been working on this for quite some time. It's time to take a little bit of a break because we have to run to the city. My daughter needs some help in her apartment hanging a TV. So we're going to go off and do that. But I'm pleased to be able to leave knowing that this donkey is almost done. So when I get home, I'm going to sit and I'm going to frizz up the little mane at the front and at the back here. I think I might have cut this a little bit too short, but once it's frizzy, I might be happy with it. I'm going to cut this a little bit shorter, not a lot, just a little bit, but then our cute little donkey is going to be done. No, I don't think that that's too short, because if you Google donkeys and you look at images, their mane in the back is really short. A horse's is a lot longer. So just saying. But anyways, I'm going to go and finish that a little bit later. All right? Looking adorable. There we go. I have it all untwisted with my needle. I got in there. It didn't take very long at all. And I think it looks fantastic. There's a few that I left. Not many, just a few here and there, especially in the tail that I left and I didn't untwist because I think it adds texture and it looks really nice. So there we go. But the mane, like, it just looks so cute. Love how that turned out. There you go. We have made a donkey together. I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial. Please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't done so already, and come on over and join my Facebook group. Friends, if you are in other Facebook groups, please post your work from my channel and add the link so people can find my channel as well. So I appreciate your support, and I am so happy that you are part of my community. Thank you for watching. Thank you for making. Thank you for being you. Take care, have a blessed day, and I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye now.